Hi, my name is Frida Argento, and you're watching the Permanent Rain Press.
Hi everyone, it's Chloe with the Permanent Rain Process, and today I'm so happy to be joined by Frida Argento. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you for asking. I know it's been such a big past week and a half for you with the release of Young Royals. Take me through those emotions. How have you been feeling?
I've been feeling like all sorts of things. Like 1 minute I can feel like I'm freaking out, and I'm like, why have I done this to myself? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? And then the other second I'm just like so happy, couldn't be happier. It's just amazing, and all the love that we've been got. Yeah, I can't even describe how it feels. It's amazing. I'm so happy.
You mentioned the love that you've been receiving. A lot of it has been online, places like Instagram. I'm not sure if you have TikTok, but I hear the
Yeah.
show's big on TikTok. Did you imagine such a large response when you were filming the show? Because you knew it was for Netflix at some point, but
Yeah,
like, did it
yeah.
ever click in, how big the show could become?
Definitely not. Like I imagine, since it's like a series for young people, and young people get really like, when they like something they really like it. So I thought it would have like a small group of people that really loved it and were really enthusiastic about it, but I never imagined it would be so much love from all parts of the world. Because before the series even had premiered, we had fan pages in Brazil. uh, and the Brazil people, I love you guys, you are the best. They are crazy. um, but now the love is coming from like parts of Asia, all parts of South America, from USA, all parts of Europe, and it's just amazing to see that. I never imagined it on this scale. I thought maybe we would get some like fan edits, and Omar and Edwin would get some fan art, but we're all getting so much love. So no, I never imagined this. I'm just so happy.
Well, we will talk about the show in just a bit, but I wanted to start off with your background in the arts. Do you remember that initial spark that got you interested in performing?
My mom and dad are both like, my mom is an architecture and she's always been painting a lot, and my dad works as like a producer for a TV company in Sweden. And so I've always been encouraged with doing things creative. And they noticed, like when I was just a small baby, that I loved doing everything creative. So it's always been there. And it's always been something I want to do, because I feel the absolute best when I'm acting or when I'm drawing. It's the best.
And you have a background in theater. So tell me a bit about your studies and what you took away from that program.
It was like here in Sweden, we have our school is like, when we're from 16 to 19, you go to the gymnasium, and it's not, you don't have to go to them, but almost everyone does them. And you can choose like economics or just whatever you want, but there's also like art and dancing and theater. And it was like, I knew I was gonna do theater, and it was just so amazing, because I've always struggled with school, but it was so amazing going to school and doing something I really love. And like really feeling that you can learn how to act, because it's just the thing you do with your body and your mouth. And just feeling like I think I matured a lot and grew as a person by studying theater. I loved it.
You were like, economics, no thank you.
No. No. And my dad was like, it was the opposite. Often people are like, oh, I want to sing and dance, and their parents are like, no, you're gonna study economics. But my dad was like, because I was like, oh, should I maybe study something else that's a bit more safe for the future? And I was like, no, I know you need to study this, because this is gonna make you happy. So I was like, okay. I'll
I
do it.
love that because there's nothing
Yeah.
like having, supportive parents who want you
Yeah.
to follow your heart and what you like to do. Prior to Young Royals, you only had one acting credit, at least on IMDb, which was a short film like 10 years ago. So what
Yeah.
kind of drew you back towards acting, and how did this audition come about?
I don't really remember. I was like 13 or something. There's like, I think I got the role through like there was this page for just it's called like Film Cafe, where you can register that you're interested, and then the directors can go there and look it up. I think that's how they found Nikita for this role also. But I don't really remember the progress, but I always knew I wanted to do it, and it's something with acting, but I didn't want to go to like an activity, a theater class or something, because I was really shy and I didn't want to meet new kids. So that was like the only thing I could get my foot into it. And then I just, I don't know, I just things it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna be a child actor. It was more like a fun thing. So I think it's good I didn't have a particular reason why I didn't do it again. I went to some casting, but it just nothing really happened, so I just went on with my life. And then I actually was in a theater after the gymnasium. I played in a show, and but those three, this one, that thing when I was 13, the role in the theater after gymnasium, and this Netflix thing is the only thing I've done.
I think that that's actually incredible because you had such like a wide range of emotions in Young Royals. So you would think that you'd been acting for a while, but I guess theater really kind of helped that throughout your education.
Yeah, and I think I'm just a really emotional girl. I think that's the biggest reason.
There is no harm in that as well.
No, it's really important to be that.
So you were in Barcelona before doing this show in customer service. What was that industry like? Like,
I don't think anyone that works with customer service, it's like their dream job. I was just happy to be living in Barcelona, so I took whatever job I could. But it was like I just felt how I slept so much on that work because it was so like nothing happened. It was like it's really important. I'm happy that I had a job, but I think I need something creative to do like all the time, or I'm, like I said, I'm really emotional. I get all dramatic if I don't have like I don't know what it's called in English, but like utlopp. It's when you have to get your feelings out somehow and not just build them in. And I think I get
more stimulating.
Yeah, exactly.
Like yeah,
exactly. But it was fine. I loved living in Barcelona, so it was fine.
And now you're back in like Sweden full time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about Young Royals, where you star Sara. Let's break down her character a bit. She comes from a bit of a fractured family past. She's a non-boarder, has Asperger's and ADHD, and Hilerska's her new school, so she's trying to find acceptance and fit in. What did you most enjoy about her? And then on the opposite side, what really challenged you with Sara?
Like for me, when I did the casting just the first time, immediately I felt like she's mine, because I identify with her so much with the Asperger part, because I also have it. So that was it was so fun to play her because it felt so important. But it was also the absolute hardest thing to do because it was so important for me to do it good. And like I used myself from when I was in her age. I tried to use myself, my like history, but at the same time I didn't want to make a copy of myself, because it's not my story, it's Sara's story. So I tried it was hard to balance that, but I think so the fun part and the hardest part were the same thing. It was challenging with her Asperger's, but it was also the absolute most fun experience. And I think it was like really healing for me. A lot of people have been writing to me and being like really happy about someone on the spectrum actually playing someone that has it, and like thanking me. But I'm just also so happy and thankful that I got to do it, because I think it's been a self-healing progress for me as well, and realizing things I haven't worked with from my past. So she's really important for me. She's my little baby.
I love that. You mentioned taking some of your own experiences. She was sketching in episode 2. I heard you mention Jong earlier, so I can imagine that that's one of kind of what you incorporated. Is there anything else specifically?
No, it's so hard because it was really important for me for her to be her own person and me be my own person, but somewhere in there it's really hard to know where I end and she begins. But it's the drawing and absolutely the love for animals. Animals are the best things I know in the world. So it's, yeah, the animals is the most similar thing with us too, I think.
So speaking of animals, Sarah spent a lot of time in the stables, helping riders and their horses. How much fun were those scenes to film? And
Those were
opposite
the best.
Nikita.
Those were the best. I love those days because it's not like when we went to the stable, we just shot one scene and then we went to the next place because they want to use the whole day for all the stable scenes. So there was like 5 days of us just being in the stables, and there was like dogs running around and nature everywhere and horses everywhere, and some people hate the smell of like the horses and their poop, but I love it. It makes me feel close to nature, and both me and Nikita loves horses, and the horse Rousseau, his name is actually Hugo. He was like the best, he was the nicest horse ever. I loved him so much. So I really loved those days, and just being with Nikita all day was also, I loved to be with her.
Yeah, we spoke with her and she only had such nice things to say about you and your friendship. It's funny because she also, as you mentioned, loves horses, but she had to pretend she was so disgusted with them.
Yeah.
And on the opposite side, you're just like, oh, I'm playing myself. This is fine. And
yeah, I was just, having so much fun. And between every take, she was like, just went to him and was like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It was really hard for her, but she did it really good.
yeah, she did. Let's talk about what happened during season 1. So there will be more spoilers ahead. If you're watching, make sure you are caught up on episodes 1 through 6. Now, what was your favorite scene to be a part of?
It was really fun. As I mentioned, all the scenes with the horses, because it was just an amazing experience working beside a horse, and he was so talented. But it was also amazing when we had the Lucia scenes, Lucia, when I was, that thing, because it was just beautiful with the choir in the background, and the one Carmen that plays my mom, Linda. She was also there, and we have a scene when she's looking at me like a really proud mother, and I was like, oh, really felt like she was my mother and was like really proud. And that whole day was amazing. I love that. But like all the scenes were always so fun. It's hard to choose just one, actually. I love them all.
That one was one of my favorites. So I wanted to talk about that white candle crown of yours. Was it ever any danger involved, or were you pretty confident that you could walk with it was 5 lit candles, right?
Yeah. No, I was scared, so scared. And I didn't even like recognize myself, because I rarely get scared of things, but I just felt like, no, I had such a bad feeling in my gut. Like it was super safe. They had like a fire extinguisher like right next to me, and he was like standing like this, super ready, and it was fine. But it was just, because it was so heavy, I had to be like hold my back and my neck like really, really straight. And it hurt so much the day after, because I never work out. I'm always like this. You can just see I'm like,
I know,
that
having
now.
like the stiff back, you're just like
Yeah.
walking
it was
slowly.
yeah, it was awful. And when we were like shooting the scenes outside, it was windy and they had to relight the candles because it's real fire. So it was like really scary, but it was also really fun. It was crazy.
I'm sure watching it back now, you're like, I did that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I did that, and having to act like super happy and excited, but on the inside I'm like, shit. I'm gonna, don't fall. I was 100% sure I was gonna fall because I'm so clumsy, but I didn't, so I'm happy.
it's over with. The scene looked great at Lucia. I wanted to talk about another one of my favorite scenes. Maybe you can give some commentary on that. And that's when
Mhm.
Sara had her outburst at dinner with her mom and her brother. How difficult was that scene to film?
It was really hard, because when you have such a dramatic and heartbreaking scene, you really feel that heartbreak like in real life. So I remember being so emotionally drained when we were done with those scenes. That night I was like, why am I so sad? And I was like, oh yeah, because I'm still Sara, for like I'm kind of still Sara. But it was also really fun because it's been like this tension building up in her the whole series. So it was like really, it felt really good to get her like scream a bit, because she's always so put together and like not quiet, but she doesn't have like a lot of emotional, like, I don't know what to call it. This
Roller coasters, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah. She has it like inside, because that was really important for me, because that's exactly how I was when I was young. I had a lot of emotions, like the emotional roller coaster inside all the time, but it was hard letting it out. And for me, it was just like that. When I did let it out, when it got to that point, it exploded. So I think it was really important for her to do that. But it was also really fun, because the most fun scenes to shoot is when you scream and cry. I love those scenes. I love them. It's so much more fun than playing happy.
And she's on her own journey. I love the family dynamics throughout the season. Tell me about working with Carmen as Linda.
It was amazing. I loved her so much. It was so sweet. She reminds me of my tia, my aunt in Argentina, because my dad is from Argentina. So it felt like just really nice. And she's super sweet and super talented. I wish we had. I wish we could have gotten to see more of her, because she's an amazing actor and she's so nice, and she's actually, she doesn't speak Swedish, but she has some Swedish lines. So it was just amazing to hear her switch from English to Spanish to Norwegian, because she lives in Norway, and then to Swedish. It was amazing to see that. She's so talented.
And she plays the mom so well, especially someone who, is dealing with teenagers, which
Yeah.
can't be the easiest, but trying her best and being supportive. And you're also Simon, played by Omar. I
Yeah.
love those dynamics because it really went from like a place that was healthy and supportive of one another and protective, but then that
Mm,
trust is kind of broken throughout the season.
yeah.
So what was it like working with Omar, and how did you build that brother sister relationship?
I don't know. We didn't have to like work or talk about it too much. I think it just came natural to us. It sounds kind of cheesy, but I think like it was really, when as soon as the cameras went on, it was like Simon and Sara immediately. uh, and he's so amazing when you think about that this is his like acting debut, and he did Simon so good. Like I don't think anyone else could have done him, and I think that with all actors also, of course, but like with him, he's so talented. So it was so fun playing with him, and I think how he portrayed Simon helps me portray also Sara. And it's like you said, their relationship is based so much on trust. So it's interesting in like the later episodes when that trust is starting to keep secrets for each other. So yeah, it was amazing playing with him.
And Sarah is the one who initially kind of sees that connection between her brother and Willem, and that starts at the movie night. For you, what was it like watching Edwin and Omar together? Did you instantly see that chemistry?
Yeah, they're so great together. Like their chemistry is amazing, and it was so much fun to see. Uh, like words can't even describe how like my heart melts when I see their scenes together. Because Sarah doesn't have so many scenes with them two together unless it's in like in the classroom, so I haven't seen much. So I knew they had good chemistry because Umar and Edwin, as like private persons, they have like they are really good friends. But seeing then Simon and Wilhelm, it was amazing. I was blown away. It was so good.
Well, I have to give props to everyone in the cast. I thought that you all had really good chemistry, and there's some tension that Sara has with August, played by Malte.
Yeah.
Starts at the library, stables, his room later on. What do
Yeah.
you think drew her towards him? Because she knows that he's not a very good guy.
Yeah, I think it's like the biggest reason is that he is like he's living the life. I don't know how to put it in English. He is like the image of the life she wants. He's like a good-looking guy, has a lot of money, has a lot of respect, pretty wise, like has a lot of authority. So I don't think, because they don't really, I think they have some kind of force driving them together. Because me and Malta have been talking about it, like during the shooting, we talked about it a lot, like why why are they getting together. And I think for Sara and her part, it's a lot about him being something she really wants to be a part of, and he's a way in. And also, she's never been in love. I think maybe she confuses the feel, because she has some sort of feeling for him, but not for him, but the idea of him. So I think she might be confusing it together, but it's interesting. Like she's interested. It's exciting.
I think that's a beautiful way of putting it. Like you mentioned, he kind of has that power, and she could be mistaking it for something else. But keeping that in mind, if season 2 goes ahead, there's already been petitions for it. What would you potentially like to explore with Sara and see more of?
I want to see her like becoming. I want to, because a lot of people became really mad about her not telling Simon about the tape, but I want there's to be room for her in season 2 to keep doing mistakes, because when you're 16, you're not perfect. It's easy to look back and be like, oh, I would never do that. But when you're 16, she's been bullied her whole life. This is the first time in her life she feels like she belongs somewhere. And I remember like doing really stupid choices when I was 16, and having people around me doing really stupid shit also. So I think it's important, even though people can get really mad with that. It's the same thing with August. Like people are really mad with the bad guys in the shows, but I think it's really important to have that, because it's way of life and no one is perfect. And I think it's important to see. I think there should be room for her doing more mistakes, but then finding her path to being comfortable with who she really is, because I think since she's been bullied for so long, she really doesn't think she's anything. She doesn't have any worth. um and also, it's not fun if everyone is perfect, like in a series. It's not fun. So I want to see her explore and find herself.
And nothing fixes itself overnight, right? So that's the
Oh,
whole thing
exactly.
about the process. I would like to see more scenes with her dad. Obviously, he
Yeah.
tried to put himself in his children's life during the season, so that would be nice to bring him back and see more of their mother as well.
Yeah, like, one of my favorite scenes was also shooting with him, because he's an amazing actor, and his eyes, like, oh, I was so heartbroken doing our scene when he came there and tried to give me flowers. I was like, I'm sorry. He's
She was just like,
amazing.
no, I want nothing
Yeah.
to do with you.
Yeah, she does. She says one thing to him, and then she talks to Simon and says, tell him to leave. Yeah, I would really want to explore that more in season 2, because I think that's a really big wound she has from her past that she hasn't dealt with, and she's like, I'm never gonna deal with that because it's in the past. I'm gonna move on. But I think she really has to deal with that.
So take me behind the scenes. Do you think, your favorite moment from set working with this talented group?
Every moment. It sounds stupid, but like every moment, because when you're on set, there's a lot of waiting time, and if you just hang around and do nothing, it like get really boring. So we always did things. If we played the piano or we did some stupid sketches, so we just hung out and talked shit. Like all the cast are amazing people. I love them so much, and it's so fun. Like even though you don't have to become best friends with everyone in the cast because it's still a job. It's so amazing that we all found each other so good. And I really enjoy hanging out with every one of them. So like every moment I can't I can't choose.
And I think that's really cool about the show is that there are some people, like I think Edvin had some more credits to his name, but a lot of you are still kind of starting out, so you're getting to experience this kind of big production together.
Yeah. Like when I went in and I heard it's a Netflix production, I was like, shit, I'm gonna be like the rookie that knows nothing. I'm gonna be so bad. I'm gonna make so many mistakes. But then I got there and I was like, no one knows anything here. I'm not the only one. So it was everyone was so down to earth and so nice, and people with experience are also nice. It was just like really fun, and I really like that Netflix gave so many of us that opportunity, because sometimes it's really hard to become an actor because you have to be have a name before you get a name. I don't know. So it was really amazing to see that actually.
You said after the show that you would love to continue acting, but also maybe do some more behind the scenes work like writing. So tell me about this interest, and did working on the show and with your head writer Lisa and the writing team, did that really inspire you?
Yeah, definitely. Like seeing Roshta, Erika, and Lisa working, it really inspired me because I've had like thoughts about it before, but now more than ever, I'm like so excited. I really want to try to direct or write something, and also like film. I don't know. It just really intrigued me, and working alongside such amazing women really made me happy to see.
Yeah, the team behind Young Burrows and your, creator, director as well, all women, which I think is amazing for Netflix to have this production and
Yeah,
seeing
it's
their
amazing.
strength and creativity on set, nothing better, right?
Yeah, it made me really happy to work among such amazing women.
So another passion of yours is music. I know you play piano and guitar. Tell me about how long that's been in your life for.
Not really much anymore. Like I did it when I was younger because I had to like we talked about earlier, I had to get my feelings out somehow. I don't do it as much anymore, which is really sad, but I do it sometimes. I think it's fun. I mostly listen to music. I wish I would have kept playing music also, guitar and piano, but other things get in the way.
I think sometimes people say that it doesn't really leave you. So as long
No.
as like sometimes, music's a nice escape, I'm sure if you have some downtime. Who are some artists you're listening to on your playlist?
On my playlist, always Radiohead. I have a tattoo here. Radiohead. I love Radiohead. I listen to all sorts of things. It's really cheesy, but I love movie music, like theme musics.
Oh,
Um, uh,
soundtracks are the best.
yeah,
Even
I
like
love.
musical scores, right, with no lyrics. Like,
Yeah. That's the best. That's the absolute the best. I love it. But then I also love Latin music, and not like reggaeton or more like Social Vista Club. It's my childhood. I love it. It's really hard. I love all sorts of music. I also love techno. When I was younger, I was like, oh, I can only listen to this music because it's cool. But then I found out, oh, I'm missing out on so much amazing music. So I listen to everything.
nice mix of like classic, a bit eclectic. What's your favorite kind of movie soundtrack if you had to pick one?
I really love everything Hans Zimmer. Um, One of my absolute favorite is from I don't know if that's Hans Zimmer, but it's from American Beauty. That theme song is amazing. Also, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind's theme music and Truman Show. I can't decide. I love it all. Also, Mandy and a Nicolas Cage movie that came out not so long ago. That's a really good soundtrack also.
I think Hans Zimmer, he did the Inception, if you've seen that movie. Yeah, that one I love. Yes,
that's amazing. It's so good. Like that, I don't know what it's called, like the Hans Zimmer horn. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like a sort of sound he made that's such an anxiety sound. That's so good. It's so
good. Emotional, right?
Yeah,
perfect for emotional people.
Yeah, for walking to the subway, just listening.
It's feeling amazing. Like you're something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You have another tattoo I wanted to talk about. I don't think Sara has that tattoo, but what exactly is it? What's the story behind it?
It's from one of my absolute favorite movies, Donnie Darko. It's the bunny.
You can tell that I didn't know what that was, but it looks cool.
Thank you.
A lot of detail there.
Yeah, I love that movie so much. I love it. Maybe the people on like the makeup persons on the set maybe weren't so happy about
how much time did they have to spend covering it up? I guess Sara did have like some long sleeve shirts, so that made it easier. But
I almost always had long sleeve shirts, mostly because it was cold, also because felt more like Sara, but also because so they didn't have to like sit for 5 hours. No, not 5 hours, but maybe 2 hours it took. I think it's one scene when I have short. It's like during the sleepover. That's the only time I don't have long sleeves, and they sat for like so long.
And that one was a fun scene with Nikita and Natalie as Madison. It felt like just a girls' night, right?
Yeah, and we had so much fun. Like it's one shot when I'm just like really laughing because of the picture we took, and that's just me laughing for real.
Yeah, you don't have to fake that.
No, I don't have to fake. And it was that scene was also one of my favorite scenes to shoot because it was just us three in their room. We were having so much fun, and it was just really fun. I love that scene.
More girls scenes, season 2.
Yes.
And we have one more question, our signature question for you. If you could be any ice cream flavor, which would you be and why?
Coconut or chocolate chip mint, or what it's called. No, mint, just because I love those flavors. And why wouldn't I want to be a flavor that I love? It's a bit exotic, but also a safeguard.
I like it. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat. Really appreciate it. Make sure to catch Frida in Young Royals. It is out now on Netflix, and we will see you next time.